Hey people, how you doing? It's Wednesday, 1st of February. A whole month of 2023 gone already. Well, cheers. Right quick, that shooting in Omaha yesterday at Target was nowhere near my neighborhood. It was way out west in the part of town that I never go to because there's nothing out there, literally. And I do mean that also soul-wise. It seems to be dead out there. You know, it's like everybody's running away. That's been the whole trajectory of development in Omaha. Get away from, I ain't gonna say the word. You know what I mean. Some of y'all do, some of y'all don't. Excuse me. Just getting going. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Folks, some of you folks are rather eloquent with your comments. I do enjoy reading them. People sharing, what's been real obvious to me is just how important Tom Verlaine's music is, not was, but is to many people. People have written some really nice, eloquent things about how the music has affected them and affects them. That's beautiful. I like the fact that you folks share it. New Wave Girl, great to hear from you. Really, really good to hear from you. You folks that share pertinent information about the records that I show and background stuff, that's cool. Again, it's a good thing that's happening. So yesterday I had news and I completely forgot it, but it's good because I was able to actually consolidate the what's this upcoming event since then. Let me take another sip. So yesterday I found out that I'm going to be a guest on the Watt from Pedro show podcast. That's Mike Watt, who was in the Minutemen and also played with Iggy in the Stooges most recently. This is the only thing I still have by Mike Watt. I don't have the Minutemen records anymore. Of course, I had some Minutemen records in the heyday of my punk collection. Mike Watt is a consummate bass player. He's a bass jammer. I call Mike Watt a bass brother. He is the kind of bass player that I am and the kind that I like. We jam that bass. We don't play around with it. We do our job and some. And he is a real good example of that. I have Brian Day, who I told you just came through out of San Francisco to visit. I have him to thank for making the connection to Mike. Mike has recorded some music using some instruments that Brian made for him. For example, you musicians, P Junior. I don't know if it's P Junior or PJR. I want to shout you out because I know you're there, and it still blows my mind that you're as good as you are on the guitar, and nobody knows about you. But where was I going? I was talking about Mike Watt, and I'm excited about it. I got completely sidetracked mentioning P Junior. Oh, okay. So anyway, the visit with Brian Day. He like I told you, he's a very interesting and involved person in the arts, and it was his suggestion, to appear on Mike's show. Made the connection, And then when we got to talking, and I started to send him information to set up the podcast, he said, "Oh, I remember you. Yeah, we met. I met Mike Watt. I don't know what year it was. Excuse me. I've seen him play a couple times, and the last time I saw him play might have been this. Was it this band? No, it wasn't this band. I enjoyed them. I forget the name of the band, but I met afterwards. We got to talking, and we vibed up. You know, took some pictures, and so I shared that with him, and he said, "Oh, I remember you. This is going to be cool." I love that. You know, the fact that he remembers me. Although, you know, some people will say, "Well, sure, he remembers you." You know, for an obvious reason, which I don't agree with. I think people remember me because of me. You know what I'm saying? You know, earlier, I don't know what I was going on about, and I lost my train of thought. I try to just go like that, you know. I'm tickled that I've been interviewing people, and now someone wants to interview me. And of all people, someone cool like Mike Watt, who has a lot of interesting people on his show. I've only listened to a few, but this is great. This is way cool, and I'm going to thank Brian again for making it happen. It's February 20th. February 20th, okay, is when it's going to be on. Okay. Yesterday I attempted to edit the video to include those clips, and my editor wasn't working right, so but thank you. I got some nice feedback from a couple of you folks on the music you heard yesterday. That's going to be on the new CD. It's not going to be on a CD. It's going to be digital only. Let me see if I can call up another piece right quick while I'm talking here. Like I said, folks, you know, when I make these videos, I sort of think about what I want to talk about, but I don't plan out. So it can be like this, where it's a little, well, what next? What are we talking about? So let's see if I've got another one that would be nice to. Is this one? There's a variety of sounds on. Okay. This is another one of those short kind of fragments of a piece here that you're hearing. It'll be out on Friday. So something else that I can share that's on my mind is, yes, unfortunately, people passing away is something that is happening, and it's happening more because of my age. Some people think it's because of COVID, and maybe it is, I don't know. But yesterday I got news that a local musician named Bill Farber, who I played with in a few bands, passed away. Sax player, flute player. Of note, though, is that he is one of the few guests, three guests on this, my first album, Dereck. He plays flute on this. And on most of my records, most of my solo records, I play everything. So that I felt was notable to share with people online about Bill, and sharing with you folks that Bill and I weren't like buddies hanging out all the time, but we were good friends, mutually respectful, loved playing music with him. He was the sort of musician that was good. He could activate. You could goose him in a live situation, and he could meet the challenge. In other words, he's a horn player, and you know, I come from a musical family. My dad played horns, and my dad was good. And so there'd be times that we'd be playing, and I would just give Bill shit. Come on, blow that thing. man, come on, give me something. And he could do it. He would shred. Rest in peace, Bill Farber. I'm going to just keep going, a lot on my mind. Yes, actually, there's a lot on my mind. Okay, the record. I just found out that we're going to be making a music video with David Nance Band for the album, for the first single. This is all going to be coming out in July, but behind the scenes info for you. The organization for making it's going to be a pro shot video. This will be the first pro video that David has done. He's had some videos done before, but David is really into indie and lo-fi and just really keeping things close to the ground. So this will be the first one where we have a director and locations being set up, and I'm excited. It's my friend Nick Fackler who's going to direct it. He's directed a bunch of great videos as well as being a movie director. I'm not going to spill too many beans, but he's going to be in Italy later this year working on his next feature film. He's going to be shooting our promo video for the upcoming David Nance album. I'm excited about that. There's other stuff. It's all floating around. Okay, here's something I want to mention. Please, I hope that the way I'm talking today isn't too bad. It's I feel a little bit scattered. I've been wanting to mention this artist because I don't have any of her records because I don't see them in Omaha. And I don't like to buy CDs, but I don't know if I could even find her CD. But she's on the Warp label. Good label. Kelela. You guys know who I'm talking about? Kelela. Kelela. She just put out some new songs. And she had that... forget the name of the last album she put out. I really like her style, her voice. She's extremely sexy, but owning it, not like being pushed on her by others. It's her owning her sexiness. She's got an incredible voice, and her tracks, she's like me. She's listening. Those tracks have got to be hot. It's got to be good music. Kelela is badass. I'd love to have some of her stuff on vinyl. Okay, so what's sitting out that's been played that I can show you? Robert Wyatt. He just had a birthday. Thank you. He's not 80 years old yet. 78. His Greatest Misses. This is a very good double album of selections from his catalog that if you don't know Robert Wyatt, this would be a perfect introduction because it's not greatest hits. It's wonderful selections from his catalog. It's a magical experience to listen to this. Robert Wyatt is special. He is. He's the real deal, no bullshit kind of person, and that's why his music and his art resonates so deeply with many of us. And I will use the word us. Really enjoyed this yesterday. I don't play it very often. Porcupine Tree. We Lost the Skyline. This is like an unplugged sort of. It's basically Steven Wilson, and then on side 2, John Wesley joins him on guitar, doing versions of Tree songs. And what's cool is, and I said it online yesterday, Steven Wilson can pull it off by himself. And I have the collectible orange version, number 795 out of 1,000. Really enjoyed it. It was like, I thought maybe I would just put it on just to be putting it on. Well, he really pulled me in. Steven Wilson is cool. I'm looking forward to his next solo album. This was good. This is good. I haven't bugged Richard Barbieri about a return visit. I will sometime. My Bloody Valentine, I found this years ago, used. Now try to find a copy. It didn't have the 7-inch, big deal. You know how some nerdy collectors, oh, you didn't have the 7-inch? Fuck off. That's what I have to say to that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? It's like dick size comparing dick sizes when you're kids. I'm not into that. It's the music. I love having the actual record. So let's get up all that stuff. I got this and you don't have that. Fuck that. This is really good. Isn't anything. Interestingly, folks, I first heard this on the radio, of all things, here in Omaha. I forget who was doing these shows, but they would have, well, it's probably still going. Maybe Dave, the dark stuff. Maybe Dave, you remember. But they've had these alternative and underground shows on FM radio over the years in Omaha. I forget who gets them on there, but one time I turned it on, and this was playing, and I was thinking, what is this? I mean, it was so unusual to hear it on the radio. I had to find out. It was one of those deals, like the first time I heard UK, the progressive rock band UK, I first heard them on the radio. I didn't know about it, and then I heard about it on the radio. It was mind-blowing. This was mind-blowing to hear on the radio, and I had to call the station to make sure I found out who it was. This is some great music. Got to see my Bloody Valentine live. It's an experience. It's a fantastic experience. Gila, Krautrock, German band from the 70s. This is a live album. Nightworks is the name of the official release of this album, but this is one of those Russian bootlegs. There's a series of these. This is good. Good jamming. Good jamming. It's so of the moment that it could be now. It doesn't sound dated. I love stuff like that, where the music is so alive in the hands of those that are doing it. I see that other folks are doing this thing called random shit from my record collection, kind of similar to my random pulls. I love it. Way to go, people. So with that in mind, I'll do a random pull. Okay, now oftentimes I don't go back here. I'm just going back here and seeing what do I get. Shanti. Okay, this is early example of blending of other ethnic influences on Western music in a rock setting. This album came out in 1971, and of note, Zakir Hussain is on this album on tabla. You know Zakir Hussain because of Shakti with John McLaughlin, or you ought to, at the very least, know him through his work with John McLaughlin. But this is pretty cool. It's an early, like I said, it's like hippie times, and so it's got that vibe, and some of the words are kind of cringeworthy, going back to the land and all that shit, But it's really cool to hear. He's only a teenager on this album, playing his ass off. Shanti, that's my blind pull for the day. Hello, family. Hey, Stephanie. Hey, everybody. As always, it's like there's always more to say, and it just kind of escapes me, but I'll say it next time. I'll say again how chuffed and jazzed I am about the fact that I'm going to be on Mike Watt's radio show with him on February 20th. Watt from Pedro, his podcast. Looking forward to it. Okay, folks, as always, stay in touch.